On board these buses, refugees could begin to relax a bit. After days on the run, they knew when they closed their eyes to try to sleep tonight, they'd be safe.
The
airstrikes frightened us. It took us 2 days to reach the border. Definitely when you have children, you will suffer.
Turkey says it's doing everything it can to avoid civilian casualties. The number of Syrian refugees streaming over the border is slowly ticking up. 2 days ago, that number was less than 200. On Wednesday, more than 800 Syrians, primarily Kurds, crossed over the border into northern Iraq. They tell us they're paying smugglers between $150 to $200 to escape to safety.
Next, a controversial deal tonight, a plea deal in an officer-involved shooting. A 73-year-old wife and retired librarian was taking part in a community safety workshop in Punta Gorda, Florida. The officer she was working with shot and killed her. He says he did not know his gun had real bullets, and tonight her family shocked to learn that the officer will serve no jail time.
Florida prosecutors have agreed tonight that the former Punta Gorda police officer seen here in street clothes during a community demonstration will serve no jail time for the accidental shooting death of this woman, 73-year-old Mary Knowlton. Her family says it feels like authorities let them down.
I don't know. It doesn't seem like we got justice.
In 2016, the retired librarian was randomly selected from the crowd for this use of force exercise in the parking lot of the police station, where former police officer Lee Cole was pretending to be the criminal and she the police officer. This is the moment when he fires 4 shots. They were supposed to be blanks, but they weren't. She died at the hospital.
Fire and fury in the heart of the city for the 3rd night in a row. A crowd of mostly younger people chanting, "These streets will always be ours," until the anger erupted out of control. Some taunting the police, who in turn responded quickly as they attempted to disperse the crowds. The tension in the Catalan region is at an all-time high, following the sentencing of 9 pro-independence politicians and activists for sedition over their roles in the 2017 illegal referendum. In an attempt to calm the situation, Spain's Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez made this appeal to the Catalan leader.
En Cataluña viven millones de personas.
Millions of people live in Catalonia, and they have the right to live securely and in peace with the right to their own political ideas. But that is incompatible with the conduct of violent groups that put at risk the peace of their cities, the property of their neighbours, and the safety of citizens.
Police in India-controlled Kashmir have detained more than 140 children since the start of August. That's according to a report requested by India's Supreme Court amid increasing concern about detention of kids. Kashmir's police chief says young people found to be breaking the law are strictly dealt with, but denies they're being held illegally. The Indian government's been deploying additional troops to Kashmir since revoking its special status almost 2 months ago. It's also suspended telephone and internet communications and imposed a curfew on people living there, citing security concerns.
For generations of Aussies, getting on a 747 meant an overseas holiday, but not this flight. It was the farewell for the plane named Lord Howe Island, being delivered to new owners as Qantas starts retiring the last of its jumbo jets it first started flying in 1971.
With wide aisles and wide custom-built seats, with movies and stereo.
But now newer planes carrying fewer passengers can fly further using less fuel. For Captain Robert Nelson today, a final touchdown.
Mighty Jumbo's always been the queen of the skies. It's always been what people aspire to fly.
Bought by Rolls-Royce, it'll be stripped out and used to test new engines, big and small. Qantas will see off its remaining 747s by the end of next year.
For the second day running, Hong Kong leader Carrie Lam had difficulty getting her point across on the floor of the Legislative Council. Drowned out by heckling from members of the opposition, chanting slogans of the protest movement, now in its 5th month. As on Wednesday, Lam's question and answer session about her policy address was twice halted before she could finish.
Also know that
pro-Beijing council members condemned the protest in the chamber.
As a legislative councillor, I don't think that any electrical member should use any kind of violence, including verbal or physical violence in the chamber to express their will.
Hours before the Legislative Council session, the leader of a human rights organization behind the largest peaceful marches over the last 4 months here was brutally attacked. Jimmy Sham was assaulted on Wednesday night by as many as 5 masked men who beat him with hammers.
Okay. Yan! Yan! Mahulog! Baka mahulog yung...
Ayan, malakas eh.
Isang patak lang eh. Wala. Pahigahin, kuya. Dito lang nasa may araw para kita na lang dito. Pag hindi pa.
अब हमने बच्चे को नलकी से दूध पिलवाया है, तो दूध बच्चे ने हजम किया है, दूध हम बढ़ा रहे हैं। अभी 8 ml दूध 3 घंटे पे हम उसको बच्चे को दे रहे हैं। उससे क्या हुआ, बच्चे का वजन जो है पहले से बढ़ के 1 किलो 260 ग्राम हो गया है इसमें, और बच्ची थोड़ा पहले से बेहतर हुई है उसके अंदर। और ये दिव्य चमत्कार से कम नहीं है कि बच्चा इतने दिन तक जमीन के अंदर गड़ा रहे।
It was right here that Anastasio Mattavelli was shot by 5 gunmen last week. He died shortly afterwards in hospital. He was an observer in Mozambique's election and the director of a rights group. His colleague, Fernando Nyantave, told us he'd been with him minutes before at a training session for local observers in Xai-Xai, the capital of Gaza province. He says Anastasio's killing sent a clear message.
It makes me feel scared. I'm living in fear. After this, the situation is worse. We're being followed. It doesn't sit well with me.
Anastasio and his colleagues had raised concerns about 300,000 so-called ghost voters on the electoral register in Gaza province before he was shot and his killers sped off in a car. Just down the road, they hit an oncoming car and overturned. It was right here. 2 of the men died at the scene, 2 others ran away, and 1 was taken to hospital.